After one of the worst seasons in Florida football history, Florida has a new head coach, they have a new quarterback, they've got a lot of new players. So, what are the expectations for Florida this season? And is Jon Sumrall the answer, or is he going to be Billy Napier 2.0? Find out our thoughts next on this video from the Fanatics Show.
Well, before we get into the predictions, what are your thoughts on Florida this year? I mean, obviously, new head coach Jon Sumrall taking over for Billy Napier. What do you think about Florida this year?
Improved. Believe it or not, I think they have improved. But brother, the schedule is the schedule. I mean, it's a tough one. You got Ole Miss, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma. And then you've got some 50-50 games, but you definitely, I mean, they've got some of the best mid teams on the schedule. That's what, like, it's, and I say mid, but like Auburn is kind of in the same boat as Florida. So that's a 50-50 game, right? Missouri, I would say, is probably better than Florida on paper. South Carolina, 50-50 game, right? Maybe?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, 50-50 game, right? Maybe?
Kentucky 50 game.
I like the 50-50 games for Florida is insane. Can they go 500 or better in those 50-50 games and then maybe scratch off an upset? I don't know, but I do think they're an improved team. The schedule is just the schedule. It is what it is. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be difficult. I do feel like as far as the top-tier teams go for Florida, they don't play as many this year. I feel like the schedule's a little bit more manageable, but it's still difficult. But you mentioned some of these mid-tier teams that they played, they're kind of on the better side of things. I mean, you know, I think Auburn's going to be much improved. I think Vanderbilt's still going to be pretty hard to play against this year. I would consider Oklahoma a little bit more on the top tier side of things, but still, that's a higher tier, mid team. And then, first year head coach Jon Sumrall, who's to say that he's going to be able to turn it around? I've been on record saying that I think he's Billy Napier 2.0. Now, he could end up proving me wrong, but until he does, I'm going to continue to say that. I just don't think that he's going to be the guy. I feel like, Skylar, I'm going to give you props for this. You said this when we were talking about head coaches back earlier. I feel like Florida right now is in that, that Butch Jones teetering towards Jeremy Pruitt type position as far as the head coaches go. With Jon Sumrall. I feel like that this isn't the right hire. They're going to have to make at least one more hire to get the right guy at this point. I just feel like it's not going to work.
They make
out.
17 more hires. I really
I agree
care.
with
you. But I don't know. We'll see. But I'll go ahead and kick it off. I do think, let me get the right tab here a little. Let's see, layers. Oh, yeah, there we go. I do think they do start out the year 2-0. Which is great because in this day and age with the SEC being 9 games, you better win those non-conference games. I think at Auburn, that just is a sucky game for them to start out with. There's not a lot of great games you can start out with, but Auburn is going to be hungry, just as hungry as Florida is. And I, right now, trust that head coach more than I trust Florida's. I think we all know why. So give me Auburn for the win there. Ole Miss, man, this is a great chance to get a bounce back. You host Ole Miss. I would definitely put Ole Miss on upset alert in this game. I kid you not. We don't even know what Ole Miss is going to look like, but what I do know is that they got one of, if not the best quarterback in the SEC that's coming back for like an 8th year. And so no, wrong. I did it again. God darn it. I think they lose to Ole Miss too. At Missouri. I don't think it's a great start for the coach at Florida. South Carolina. No, I had that as a I don't think they beat South Carolina either. This is not going good. I really don't. At Texas, though, all right, hear me out. No, I don't. They did upset them last year. That's not going to happen again. I can promise you that. I don't care who the coach is. Georgia is interesting. only because, and yes, I'm going to throw it in there and it shouldn't be, but there's not going to be a dollar spent on Florida upsetting Georgia on the betting apps. So hear me out. We know it's rigged. Does Florida pull the upset on Georgia?
Here's what I can guarantee: Florida's going to cover the spread.
That's a fact, dude. Florida's going to make this a close game. A part of me wants to just give them the win just to give them a win, man. And I think it'd be good for the rivalry if they just came out of nowhere and beat them. And it absolutely mean nothing to Florida because they still wouldn't even make a bowl game. So it'd be like that ultimate slap in the face for Georgia because it could cost them to host a playoff game or whatever. But I'm gonna put a loss there. I'm gonna try to be a smart gentleman. Oklahoma, they do host Oklahoma. I'm not sure if Oklahoma is going to be good from a healthy standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
John Napier has been known to battle some injuries with the hand, whatever, what have you. Will he be healthy at this point in the season in November? I don't know. I am actually going to have Florida upsetting, and this is my first big upset in the predictions other than, I guess, Clemson, South Carolina. But I'm going to have Florida beating Oklahoma at home. I think it's a good spot for Florida. I don't know about Oklahoma. We'll get to their schedule in a little bit. But at Kentucky, I've given Kentucky the win, I believe, already over this one. So I have to honor that and give an L there. And then they host Vanderbilt. And I think this is where Florida kind of finds their groove. I think they kind of find their groove. I think they beat Vanderbilt, and they actually beat Florida State to finish the year 5-7 in a year where it kind of gives off a lot of hype for the Florida fans because of the way they finished the season. They would still have that nasty Kentucky loss in their mouth, but overall they can say in the final month they went 3-1, and maybe they did miss out on a bowl game, but maybe they get a bid and they can go win another game and try to get to that 6th win. I don't know. But I've got the Florida Gators going 5-7 this year. And like I said, improved, which it is technically by like one game. But then again, improved by one game when you got non-SEC games, in my opinion, is dramatically improved. It almost is like a 2 to 3 game swing, in my opinion. But now they always have had a non-conference schedule with Florida State, so it doesn't change a whole lot. I know they had to play Miami last year, so or not Miami. They played Golish's team.
Well, they played USF and they played Miami last
year. They did
year.
play both of them. Okay, right on. Yeah, because they played like all the Florida teams last year. I felt like.
Yeah, they're the only
except
game,
UCF, I think.
Yeah, they didn't play UCF, but they played Long Island, and that was their one like cupcake game. And then it was USF. Then they had Miami. Then they always have Florida State at the end of the year, and then all the SEC games. So.
There you go. So my worst case for Florida, I kid you not, is 3-9. I think they still win Florida Atlantic. I still think they beat Campbell. And then I think they scratch one somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Florida State. Not sure what they're going to look like this year. But if not Florida State, I think they eke out an SEC win somewhere to get to 3-9 as their worst case. And then their best case, maybe they beat Kentucky, South Carolina. Their best case could be 7-5. Yeah, I'm gonna say their best case is 7-5 this year. And what an improvement that would be in a 9-game SEC schedule for Florida, first-year head coach. Wins over Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and the SEC.
So let me ask you something. I've been kind of on the train the last several years that Mike Norvell should be gone from Florida State, but somehow he keeps working out a way to stay there. If he loses to Florida again, do you think he's out?
I don't know. Florida State's kind of confused me with that whole deal. But yeah, I mean, I would think if he doesn't push for the ACC championship, I think he's out.
I agree.
I mean, Florida State's not going to settle for less, right? So if he's not even close, I mean, I think he only got this last year because literally the year before he was perfect and a tragedy happened and whatever. But like this year, well, I guess the year before that, but like this year he beat Alabama to start the season, so I think that bought him another year. And obviously that fell flat on its face right after. So I don't know, man. That Florida State one's weird. I think he's going to do just enough to keep his job, to be honest with you. Just enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I mean, Florida State they've got a pretty crooked line. But let me just show you. This is that straight line right here. Straight line. The Florida State fans think it's this no straight line. Those that don't understand what I'm talking about, go back to the College World Series 2024.
No, I got you, man. I'm sitting here, Rhonda out here speaking facts. So
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, what you got the Florida Gators going this year?
All right, so Florida, I do have them starting off with a win over Florida Atlantic in a close game. I think this is going to be a lot closer than what they feel comfortable with. I think Florida Atlantic is going to be a decent team in the American this year, but Florida does get a win. Then they beat Campbell in week 2, start off the season 2-0, and I'm going to be like you in this one here. Obviously 2 new head coaches, Jon Sumrall and Alex Golesh, facing off against each other. And
I like Golesh's quarterback too. I think he's very underrated.
I do as well, and I feel a lot more comfortable with what Golesh has got coming in than I do with what Jon Sumrall does. So I've got a loss.
Is DJ Lagway still at Florida? No, I know they were able to keep the running back, which that running back for Florida is dangerous.
Lagway is gone. I forget where he went to.
Why is that not a storyline? Like, where did he go?
He didn't get picked up until late. People just did not take him.
Well, to be honest with you, he wasn't that good.
This says he's still in the NCAA transfer portal. I thought he got got picked up by somebody.
Hey, that is the unfortunate side of the transfer portal, is sometimes you can just get left floating, and that is the worst feeling in the world as an athlete. So
I see another story now saying he transferred to Baylor.
Oh, that makes sense. I think that's right. I think I actually heard that from the EA show, that he's at Baylor.
Let's see.
I think that's right.
Yes, he's at Baylor. He's at Baylor now. But yeah, he didn't get picked up until late at Baylor. So he spent a lot of time in the transfer portal before he went there.
Yeah, he's too big of a name, even if he's not that great. He's too big of a name to be stuck out in the portal. Yeah, he did, Rhonda. You're right. He definitely went to a different conference. Baylor's Big 12, right? Maybe.
Yep, Big 12. Yep.
So he's in the Big 12 now. That's okay. All right, continue. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. It's where me and you are in the same boat again. I feel like this is a huge, huge upset spot for Ole Miss.
Oh yeah,
because if there's another coach besides Jon Sumrall that I'm not confident in, that is Pete Golding at Ole Miss.
But I think he's got the dudes.
Vocal
I think he's got the dudes to carry. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Like, he's got the dudes.
He's still got Kiffin's guys.
He's still got Trinidad Chambliss there.
That's a fact.
You know what? Florida gets an victory in this game.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so coach is getting fired from Ole Miss immediately.
One can only hope.
You can't.
No,
I don't really hate Ole Miss though, man. They're always I don't know. I kind of view Ole Miss and Tennessee like equivalent in a way, I guess. The fans expect natties, but we just don't get them that often. So
yeah. And looking at the schedule for Ole Miss, they start off the season with a neutral site game against Louisville in Nashville. Then they play Charlotte. Then they play LSU in week 3, that game being at home. I could see.
Wow, that's week 3?
This is such an upset spot for
what an emotional yeah, dude, because if they lose that game, that's going to be like their season.
On the road after that game, man. I feel even better about this now.
That could be a very underrated pick right there. That's a solid one. Good job.
I am on board.
Way to do your research.
Ole Miss.
You're talking to a guy that just waits to see the schedule when you put it on the screen. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can see this happening.
So
they are not losing to Auburn, says your soothing sound.
I think they are 100%.
I mean,
especially with it being on the road.
But I said when I did mine, that's a 50-50 game.
It's a toss-up. It is.
We don't know. It's 2 first-year head coaches. They both have great, talented players. I just think that Auburn's got a better coach.
And I feel like home field advantage will play a part in that game as well. And if in that case, advantage Auburn.
And this could be I don't know, I haven't seen the time slots, but this could be a night game for these 2 teams because when else are they going to get a night game?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
All right,
but we appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, at Missouri, I do think Missouri is a better team in this spot. They also will have home field advantage in this game. That's going to be a loss there.
Agreed.
South Carolina, I do think that Florida gets a win in this one. I do think that's going to be another 50-50 game. And I feel like this one, because they have the home field advantage, they would get the win there. At Texas, I feel like it could be a closer game than what some people might think it would be. But Texas is still going to get the win in this one. Then you have the bye week before playing Georgia. That game is going to be in Atlanta this season. Georgia is going to win. Florida's going to cover the spread. 100%. They absolutely
Bet the house on
will
it
do.
right now.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oklahoma at home. This is a spot. Let me look at
I did
Oklahoma's
it.
real quick.
I did it. Don't do it. Don't take the bait.
No, I'm gonna give Oklahoma the win in this
Yeah,
one.
as you
So
should. As you should. John Mateer is not going to lose to Florida. There's no shot.
that and listen to Oklahoma's schedule before they get to Florida. So the 3 games prior, they play Kentucky at home, Mississippi State on the road, South Carolina at home before they travel to Gainesville. It's a very manageable schedule there
Most
before they
definitely.
play against Florida.
Most
So
definitely.
I think, especially when you see what Florida had before playing against Oklahoma with Texas, yes, they had a bye week, but then Georgia, I think that's a good spot for Oklahoma to get a win. At Kentucky, in my prediction for Kentucky last week, I had a win over Florida. I'm not going to change it here. Florida drops the game to Kentucky. Vanderbilt. This Vanderbilt game, I feel like, could be the
No Eli
difference.
Stowers, no Diego Pavia, but they do have the 5-star true freshman.
You know what? I haven't done this before, but I'm gonna skip ahead. I do think that they beat Florida State. So right here,
Oh, we agree on that. Let's go.
right
okay,
here,
so right.
I've got 5 wins for Florida right here. This Vanderbilt game is going to be for bowl eligibility based on my prediction. And we don't know what Vanderbilt's going to look like. They've got the 5-star freshman Jared Curtis at quarterback. They've still got a talented running back, one of the top running backs in the conference. We've already talked about the offensive line got decimated for Vanderbilt. I think that Clark Lee is a better coach than Jon Sumrall, though. And I think Jared Curtis, I think that he's going to be
decent.
finally hitting his stride.
Hey, I hear you on that one. I hope not, because I know he plays the week after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I hear you. So we
I'm-
both have Florida going 5-7.
Yeah, I'm going to give the loss to Vanderbilt.
Just a different
38.
way. I had them beating Oklahoma. You have them beating South Carolina. I had them beating Vanderbilt as well, but you have them beating Ole Miss. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, 5-7. That's going to be my prediction for this season. The floor for Florida.
1-0. No, I'm joking. 1 and
No, they beat Florida Atlantic. They beat Campbell. I feel like they win one game somewhere on this schedule besides those 2.
Me and Rhonda agree. Get wrecked. Let's go.
So
I
I
never
think-
get people to agree with me. Appreciate you, Rhonda.
I think 3-9 is their absolute floor this season. So we
Same.
agree on that one.
Yep.
The ceiling for this team,
You probably got them 1 game higher though. You be doing some wide ceilings. You be going crazy. You'd be like, yeah, the floor for this team's 2-10, and the ceiling's 10-2. Yeah.
no, I think for this one, I'm going to agree with you as well as far as the ceiling goes. 7-5
I was
is
just
the
messing
highest
with you.
they can go.
I was just messing with you, bro.
No, but in fairness, I've done that for several teams.
I love like some talk shows will make fun of it and they'll be like, well, worst case is 0-12 and best case is 12-0. And I'm like, that's not how this is supposed to work, brother. Like, come on.
Exactly. But no, I think I've got them going 5-7. I think they could win 2 more games here. Now, the games that they could win, they could beat any one of Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Oklahoma, or Auburn. But I don't think that they can beat all of them and beat the teams that I've got on here. I think that they can win 2 out of 4 of those games to give them 7 wins. I would even say they could possibly beat Missouri. But once again, they're not going to win all of those games. They're probably going to win only 2 of those at the absolute best case. I might could make an argument for 8-4, but I think 7-5 is most likely for the ceiling this season. But Florida 5-7, just barely missing out on a bowl game, and I feel like that's a win in year 1 for Jon Sumrall. going 5-7, barely missing out on that bowl.
Especially if you got two SEC wins and one in like absolute upset fashion. Yes, I agree.
Yes,
and then you beat your rival.
And like you said as well, it could be one of those situations where if there is an SEC team that is 6-6 or something like that, but opts out of the bowl game, maybe Florida works their way in there.